Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Bitcoin here at a very critical juncture. This is something I've been speaking about for well over 10 days. You can see initially when we got rejected in this strong resistance area, we came all the way down, wicked some support, now got rejected again by this strong resistance, and now we're coming back in to the 59,000 to 61,000 support level. Is this level going to hold? Even if it doesn't, are we starting to see an altcoin rotation? Because today's been a very interesting day, which could be a precursor to what we may see over the next kind of couple of weeks. You're seeing Bitcoin here relatively flat, but you're seeing select altcoins, and I'd like to say certain quality altcoins starting to move to the upside. Phantom here up 1.74%, even Dogecoin up 2.7%. You're seeing Near Protocol up 4.7% here, 2.7 on Tron. We're seeing some green in the market. You're seeing select green across certain coins here, 4% on Room. DMTR is up 8%. So you are seeing the market favor certain altcoins in this market, despite Bitcoin stalling here and being at a very critical level. So we're going to take a look at Bitcoin dominance and try to get an understanding of, is this the rotation that people have been talking about? Now, before we do that, let's get a good understanding of what's going on here in Bitcoin, right? You can see that this was the original pattern I spoke about. I know a lot of people try to update their patterns as more candles print. I always keep my patterns the same. If I want to create a new pattern, I do it on a new chart, but I won't lose my old chart because the old chart was the correct structure, right? We were originally in this continuation pattern. At this point here where we got rejected around the center line, this is when I called for weakness. It was at this point that I said, guys, we're not managing to make it up here. We got rejected. We had a bit of a struggle here on this day on the 23rd of April, and the bears took control, driving us all the way down to 56.5. Now, on our way back up, good recovery, but again, a lower high, right? We failed to get a higher high. So this is your high, this is a lower high, and now we're moving in this direction. Now comes a very important level, the 60k support, right? Just like I showed you here on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter at @realijaz1, we need to bounce here. Right, we need to bounce here and get out of this level. Otherwise, we drop down towards 57, and in fact, we can even drop even lower, down all the way to 50k, 51k, because there's very little support here. When we consolidated here, take a look at this. Big move to the upside. So when you have a big move to the upside like this, guess what? What goes up quickly can come down quickly. We've not created any scaffolding in the price between 51 and where we're at here, which is around that 60,000 level. Very important to understand. 51 to that level is a steep drop. The one little bit of support we got here is where we rotated here. Okay, so that's our chance there, is rotating around this kind of 58 to 57 level. Can we create a higher low and somehow get out of this mess? That'll be a low, this will be a higher low, and we can form a bit of a triangle pattern then, right? We want to kind of create ourselves a little triangle here so that we can break to the upside and continue our upwards trend. That's our only hope here on Bitcoin. We need to get out of this pattern and we need to work our way to the upside. Now, in my videos over the last couple of days, I've made I've not been pulling my punches in terms of, guys, if this wants to pull back, I have no qualms. I have no concerns. It'd be nice if it continued. If it pulls back, I'm buying the dip. Right? I have no concerns. If this wants to drop down toward 50, 51, I'm going to see some great entries. When you couple that in with this, which is the Fear and Greed Index, hold up, do you want to learn how to trade? Then you need to jump into our Telegram community. Link is in the description. In our Telegram community, I share my altcoins. I share how I do my trade setups, how I do my stop losses and take profit, so you could learn to become a profitable trader. Check it out. Link is in the description. Despite what's going on, this market is not fearful. Even now, when it's dropped to 50, which is one of the lowest levels we've seen in a little while, it's still greedy. Take a look at this. Let's take a look at the chart for the last year, right? When we had a quick spike down, we touched 43. 43 was the lowest level we saw since 14th of October, right? Before Bitcoin went on its run. This market has not seen a proper flush out for a while. It's not had fear for quite a while. I mean, the lowest price I can see on this chart is 30, dating back to September of 2023. right? We're talking a long time this market hasn't had a flush out because everybody was super bullish about so many different narratives. First, they were bullish about the spot ETF. Then they were bullish about getting rate cuts this year. Then they were bullish about the Bitcoin halving. This market wants to be in the market, which is the right way to play it as far as I'm concerned. But that doesn't mean that market makers won't want to flush out some of that leverage. And that is why, even though I'm more than happy for this to move to the upside, even though I'm more than happy for us to create some support here and go to the top of the channel, that'd be beautiful. Even if that happens, I still have to prepare. It'll be negligent of me not to prepare for a move to the downside. Now, the other day, I saw somebody who thought they were really clever commenting, going, oh, look, nobody knows where it's going. Don't listen to these guys. No, if somebody tells you they know where crypto is going, they're either a pump or dumper, or, they're chatting complete rubbish, right? And I'll let you pick which one it is. Because the reality is, no, I do not have a crystal ball. I've never claimed to have a crystal ball in terms of telling you guys where we're going. I'm not a moon boy where I just say, oh, Bitcoin to 100,000 by next week and get a whole lot of attention. That's not what I do here on this channel, right? Which is why hopefully a lot of you guys appreciate the realness of this content. I'm just sharing my research with you. I'm sharing my TA. I'm sharing my insights. If you appreciate it, watch, subscribe. If you don't, keep it moving, right? Simple as that. I never claim to have a crystal ball. In fact, I do the opposite, and I was taught to do the opposite in traditional finance when I was learning to trade under my mentor, is be prepared for both directions. Always be prepared. Even if you're willing to put your house on the fact that this is going to be a bullish move, just ask yourself, what if it's a negative move? Do I have a game plan? Because oftentimes when people are so ready for the market to dump, that's when it pumps. When people are so ready for the market to pump, that's exactly where it dumps, and they have no game plan, they have no cash on the sideline, they have no limit orders set, and they cannot take advantage of the dips. So you've got to prepare for the alternative as well. Very, very important. So this channel here, can we hold this level and can we bounce? That's going to be very, very important. Now, the other chart you can look at is like this. It's a falling wedge. And in this falling wedge pattern, you can see that these again are normally bullish continuation patterns. You'd expect these to be a continuation pattern breaking to the upside with a price target at the top of the wedge of all-time highs around 74,000. But if we work our way to the bottom of the channel, because you can see we got rejected from the top of the channel, that brings you price points around 57, 58,000, right? These are the price points we're seeing here. If we break down from this pattern again, you don't see much support until that 51K price point. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at here. Does this want to come back to the bottom of the channel, hold some support, and then work its way up? That'd be nice. If not, I'm watching for a break, a retest, and then a move to the downside. These are the scenarios I'm watching. Now, what about altcoins? Like I said, there's certain altcoins moving here in the market. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is at a critical level. It was in this triangle consolidation pattern. It tried to break to the upside. It faked out and came back into the pattern. Then it faked to the downside, came back into the pattern. And now look, we're very, very precariously balanced here, looking like we may want to curl over. And if it does curl over, expect a period where altcoins do better than Bitcoin. And again, this is why in yesterday's video I said that, guys, I don't time this market. I'm not one of these guys where I'm like, oh, I'm in the market and I'm going to rotate everything into Bitcoin and then I'm going to sell all of my Bitcoin and get into altcoins. No, if I like projects, I hold them. Right? And that is why at any given moment in time, I've got a solid amount of Bitcoin, I've got a solid amount of Ethereum, and I've got the altcoins that I like. Simple as that. So when you get periods like this where altcoins are doing well relatively to Bitcoin, I'm benefiting from it. When you're in periods where Bitcoin's doing well, I'm also benefiting from it. I'm not trying to time in and out between the dominance. That's not how I play the market. If you guys want to play the market that way, good to you, all power to you, right? Go for it. Now, when we take a look at this chart, that's what I'm looking for. If this does fall to the downside, expect altcoins to do better relatively. Does that mean, this is where the fundamental misconception occurs, does that mean altcoins are just going to be green whilst Bitcoin is red? Not necessarily, right? Not necessarily. If Bitcoin wants to fall and dominance falls, it just means altcoins are not falling as much as Bitcoin. For example, Bitcoin could flash crash 5 to 8%, and maybe altcoins don't fall that much. Maybe altcoin market caps fall 3 to 4%. That would be a situation where dominance is falling, but everything is in the red as well. Okay, so make sure you understand that nuance as well. Now, I do want to focus on the bullish case because a lot of people are starting to get bearish now, and it's not the right time to just be bearish. Like I shared with you, you need to be prepared for both. Bitcoin is at support, right? right? Make no qualms about it. This is a support level. So don't be surprised to see us bounce. If we lose it, we create a lower low, then I need to be prepared for the 57, and then I have to be prepared for 51. It'll be irresponsible for me not to be prepared for those levels. Now, of course, I'm actively trading altcoins in this market as well. I've got stop losses in place. I know what I'm doing. You guys can see what trades I'm taking in our Telegram community. The link will be the first one in the description. But you've got to be careful in these markets. These markets can easily be swayed by news. And you can see here that the US markets are a little bit wobbly today, right? They were just a little bit red, now a little bit green. Dow slipping a little bit to dampen some sentiment after some poor earnings. But there's another piece of data which you have to be wary of, which is this. Your weekly jobless claims jump to 231,000, the highest since August. Why is this important? This is the highest jobless claim since August, showing signs that the labor market is weakening, which is what we want. Remember, a weaker labor market, right, plus inflation coming to the downside are signs that we will still at some point this year get a rate cut. And that's going to be a very, very important narrative for the second half of this year. Markets are not pricing in a rate cut in June at the next meeting. You can go forward to July, which is where 32% of the market expect our first rate cut. But what's going to be important is how many rate cuts do we get this year? Do we get one? Do we get two? Jerome Powell and some of the Fed officials earlier in the week kind of ruled out the chances that we'll get a rate hike, but we may well stay higher for longer. That may concern markets as well, because coming into this year, markets were expecting 3 rate cuts. They had to revise that to maybe 2 or 1. But now with some of this weakening data, if this weakening data continues, can we put that rate cut back on the table to say, okay, we could end this year by cutting 2 times and maybe being at 4.75 to 5 by the end of the year, by December. And markets will take that positively. I think they'll take that positively. I think you will see risk rotating on, and that will be seen as a real positive impact on the market. The other thing that's very important to watch here is the dollar index. If the dollar index continues in an upward trend like this, it's going to be a problem for us, right? You can see very clearly here, it's got higher low structures. If you've taken my TA course, you will recognize this as a clear upwards trend, right? It's not difficult to recognize that. But we have to see it on the weekly chart start to get rejected. You can see this high, it's got a lower high. So we need to capitalize this on the weekly chart and send this down into this direction. If I bring out the EMA ribbon, we need to send it back below its EMA ribbon and continue the downtrend here on the dollar index. If we can do that, that could coincide with Bitcoin's next leg up towards that 90,000 to 100,000 price target, which is what we want, right? We want this pattern here on Bitcoin. Again, I'm on the weekly chart here. It's come close into its EMA ribbon. Maybe it wants to pull back a little bit more, but once it's done this leg here, we need to see that leg to the upside. And that leg to the upside is where I want to be in the market. And I certainly am not going to miss this leg here because I'm scared of this consolidation here. You've got to put things into perspective. So there you have it, guys. There's my take on what I'm seeing here in the market. Look, consolidation phases are frustrating. Most people lock out of crypto, don't pay attention, get annoyed or panic sell and just get bored and focus on something else and leave crypto behind during consolidation phases. And then when there's a week or two of powerful move to the upside, they're like, why did I do that? Don't get yourself shaken out by consolidation. Don't get yourself shaken out by trying to short the market. Don't get yourself shaken out by trying to use loads of leverage. Keep it simple. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.